Hello everyone, this is Jorm here from Jorm and the Marvelous Raindrops, and today we're going to be going through my video 85 for my song 85, and we're going to go scene by scene, and we're going to look at some of what the images and metaphor mean in this, because I want it to be as clear for the listener as possible, and I think it also might be an interesting journey into the mind of Jorm. Alright, so here we go.
Factory resetting, man,
So this part arose from a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine. She was trying to get her phone fixed, and the phone company was being very uncooperative and just telling her to factory reset it, which, as somebody who knows just a bit about technology, anybody really, it doesn't fix most problems that are related to like the data and all of that. So of course, I'm speaking beyond about just a phone, but that was the thought that was on my mind when I began to write the song.
that it could help a thing, but maybe the
And then, oops,
factory resetting,
oh, I hit the stop
man, I
button.
doubt that it could help
Alright,
a
I'll just
thing,
edit that
but
out later.
maybe
So if there's any Game of Thrones fans in the audience, for sure this one should make a little bit of sense, the Red Wedding. But then there's some symbology of strings here that goes into the next line. You can see where
the red wedding that we attend with our party strings, piñatas that would hang
with
above.
piñatas and puppeteers, a piñata is something that hangs on a string and you beat it with a stick and it gives you candy. And, we kind of deal with some themes of exploitation and not really having your heart in something, but that kind of falls into the puppeteer metaphor as well, because that is, I mean, of course it's up to the interpretation, but it is sort of this being hung on a string from above by either a love interest or perhaps a substance. It could be anything.
And puppeteers, I swear I love you so much that I'm gonna have to dissolve me back down.
So I didn't intentionally mean to make this song based on television shows that have been impactful in my life, but I guess that's just how the subconscious works, and so anyone who's seen Breaking Bad will understand the relevance of this part. If not, there's also some accurate, to the best of my knowledge, scientific information that I've tried to put inside along with it, just so you can know that I'm someone that does my research. And also, I'm speaking here about a personal experience of mine, where I had ordered a supplement that had a fluorine molecule in it. It's called fluorophenibut, and it wasn't something that I was abusing, but it did kind of give me terrible, with, I wouldn't even say withdrawals. It was more just I was depressed for a couple years, and recovering from the trauma of just not finding anything funny or having a personality has been a big part of the last couple years for me. So that, but and then this next part where I say,
And they delivered it to my porch.
because I lied about my qualifications. In fact, the supplement vendor that I used to order the fluorophenibut in 2019, I did pretend to have a lab, and I had said I was going to do all these studies on the rats, and then I said, it was really dumb, and it bit me in the ass. But yeah.
My qualifications, it's something I've done since the divorce, 'cause I realized this whole thing's just a sorting.
And then, so this line, is not super dense. I would say it's just kind of obvious, sorting out equipment failure, kind of the whole thing with love and trying to make it work and putting all this energy into a person only to find that yet again you were not just compatible, or you didn't have that, that you didn't want to put in the work to be compatible. And so that ties into the theme of the divorce as well as this empty bird cage, because love can be a prison, and at the same time it, if you love something, let it go. Here this man has let the bird go, but he doesn't look any better, doesn't look any happier, and now he's just kind of playing with it, which is a kind of double entendre with the equipment failure, because why would you even need a bird cage if you don't have a bird in it? The equipment has clearly failed.
Now, equipment failure, where all my mouth.
Now this, I often use the mountains because I was born in Colorado. I use the mountains as a symbolism for hope and new beginnings, as they often have, been for me. And so that's basically this.
Around the edge of time itself, I swear to
And then here we're back to the hydrofluoric acid. And then it does, if you have seen anything in the media, it obviously dissolves the entire human body into kind of a goo. Actually, I don't know if that's really scientifically accurate or not. I haven't done that much research, but I do know that if you don't get enough of a dose to actually kill you, it can still severely damage you over the next several days because it interacts with calcium uptake, which is essential for the nervous system and the heart, etc. So that's just kind of another, running metaphor there.
Puddle of calcium-rich fluid, and then I really
And
think
then,
that I
this just kind of
finally
deals with the
live
theme of
a little bit
if you've
easier
been
on myself
hard on yourself in the
today.
past, you're always kind of never fully trust yourself, you just never know. And then you never really fully trust anyone else either. And the character, the protagonist in this song, grows tired of showing the same kindness to the same people and never getting anything in return except to be used. So, this is sort of a exploration of that theme.
A different day where I have got to kindly say.
And then the two actors here, the contrast between their faces, and these two as well, I think they're the stars of the whole video, to be honest with you. But these lines are fairly self-evident.
'Cause it's just been that kind of day, and I'm too tired to display any actual.
I think everyone knows what it's like to just be too tired to be patient with someone who's just been annoying for too long.
Or even sympathy, I swear to God,
which,
you can just give
just continues this section of the song. And now this kind of ties into the Mountain Time regalia. He's saying that he's louder than he's ever been, but it also contrasts a theme I often address in my music is like what it's like to kind of come of age in a world and like begin to overcome traumatic events and negative thought patterns, but then also like the world itself is apparently on fire and just getting worse all the time. And I've just, not that I'm a super anti-religious person, but there's plenty of these terrible for-profit pastors that just go, I mean, you all know it, you know what I mean? They go on TV, then they beg your elderly parents for their last dollars, and then they spend it on their private jet. You know what I mean? So that is what I'm getting at here, that so much how the thing, and I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not like an atheist, but at the same time, I feel like organized religion has a really great capacity for harm and to kind of keep, the lower lower classes subjugated.
There's no time left. Give it to the reverends who talk from the top of the towers they built, pretending to try and to help you get spilling the blood like a stick in the
And this is just some kind of visceral imagery to
in a faded and terrible
kind of pull it all together. And then again, maybe I can cover this up. We see this repeated theme of some negative stuff, some positive stuff, but kind of as they say in like a therapeutic context, like being on the fence, not 100% sure, if he's going to be able to pull himself out of it or not. And nonetheless, he tries, and he also, here he's talking about the pain from his past. So whoever is dear to him, he doesn't want her to know the full extent of it. He doesn't want to trigger her own pain.
Cover this up so that if you ever heard, maybe then it wouldn't hurt.
And then this is me from a few years ago.
Quite nearly so.
But then again, this is a theme of kind of duality again, because he's saying, listen, I'm gonna try to protect you, but at the same time, I'm only human. I can't really move beyond my baser impulses because none of us truly can at the end of the day. And I'm not gonna try to traumatize you, but also maybe I'm not gonna give you the most space. Obviously, I'm gonna breathe down your shirt, but I think it also speaks to just the kind of sense of loss, like without certain people around, and how you can kind of get just wrapped up in this messed up boundaries thing, even if both people have good intentions.
Then I'll breathe down your shirt, because I myself am lacking morals and lacking time, and I've opened up a
And now, this is kind of open to interpretation, but you talk about opening up a portal in the dead part of your mind. Perhaps you've allowed yourself like stuff that from your past that didn't help you, but it still has that kind of glamour, that romantic glory to it, and there's a reason you keep that stuff like condoned off so that you don't damage your life again, or have to relive the trauma. But at the same time, you just get stuck on an idea at times, and even when you're literally returning to And it could be, not only the past, but it could also be like some kind of like higher dimension and perhaps a negative, like demonic plane. There's it's hard for me to say for sure, but these are
in the dead part of my
some
mind,
themes.
and I'm gonna get sucked down if it's the last thing I do.
And then again, I'm gonna get sucked down if it's the last thing I do while I'm thinking about you. Um, Basically, again, it's like kind of like relying on that person, you know, kind of like you have these like duality of feelings for them, but it so much warps you, and you almost need to turn to something even less healthy, so at least you like can know for sure, like this dead portal in my mind, this is for sure trying to kill me, but this person in the relationship, maybe they're only sometimes, so that is and then this is actually a feature of one of my buddies here, and he's just having a drink after work and kind of just goes into the potential themes of substance use with that particular line. He's a good friend.
While I'm thinking about you and all the
And then
stuff
again,
we
just kind of like
do,
that theme of memories in the past
and
and
all
the people that we killed, I think, is more than likely they're speaking metaphorically. They're speaking about like the history, and I kind of have tried. It's almost like you're seeing it from both sides here, but it's like because we say we killed, but it's like obviously not actual like victims of murder, but rather um the identities that we built in the relationship that I this is really not about me. I'm just saying we to speak for the protagonist. This is, you know what I mean. I always write usually from the protagonist, and he has some of my own experiences, but they're separate. Anyways, that being said, so like, sorry, the people that we killed, like the identities that meant a lot to us within that relationship, the ways we saw ourselves, the way we saw each other, our friends and families' views of us, all that, and then when a breakup occurs or a separation occurs, all of those identities and different, it's just all dead. Extended family doesn't communicate between, you know what I mean? Everything is just dead, and then again,
the
you
people
know,
that we killed,
usually when things get to that point, there's a good reason for it.
and all the reasons that we had to. It makes me
And
really
then
mad, and
so
actually,
often,
well,
you
you.
know, I don't exactly have a name because it's not me. It really is a different character that just takes form through my music. But he kind of goes towards like he literally goes towards bloody rage. He has said at one point, but it's like if his feelings are too visible, he switches into saying something like, "Well, you failed to display your continued worth to me." This very sociopathic objectification. But it's not so much that he really believes that way, but more so that he is just it's a coping skill to try to protect himself.
You failed to display.
All right, so yeah, he basically is just saying, "I'm gonna just discard of you. You didn't mean anything to me." But he hasn't. Clearly, he's been deeply moved, and his whole life has been shaped by this experience. Is
Your continued worth to me. And I'm sorry if I fade altogether and so suddenly. But that's just what I do.
and again, this could mean a few things, but just a thanks. It could mean a few things, but generally, just a general theme of unpredictability and uh, a general theme of unpredictability, and I would say uh, so yeah, this theme is this scene and the words and it's all kind of self-evident.
'Cause I'm just a stain on your life. All the lanes that you sunk to. And raw
And
meat
then
made
this kind
from
of
the
goes along
tripe.
with the can or the zombies in the background and
And the
the
dissected
idea
stomach
of
proves
raw meat made from the
there's
tripe
something
and
unnatural about this all.
it sorry, I'll pause. It's basically like these choices that these characters make to, not just in toxic relationships but with substances in particular. They're the gut, is such a it's like where our conscious is, our feelings, and alcohol in particular is so damaging to like the natural bacterial balance in the gut, and that's just one example. And I guess that's about that's sorry.
very hard know what to do. Dissolve your head in ice cream salt, like a slug dried on
Some
the tree.
scenes just speak for themselves, I think.
And the pictures kept of me that you told me you deleted.
And I mean, this is like the only other part in the song that is really, other than the beginning, which was where I said the thing about factory resetting, which was a reference to this friend of mine. This also was a conversation where she said that there was some like old pictures and stuff that she deleted, and at first I got like offended, but then I thought about the how endings are not always a bad thing. Sometimes they can also be a beginning.
Did you say this metaphorically, as though to imply that you've gotten over all the things I did in the past? All the things you did in the past.
And then, we used the same guy, the same actor from earlier about the Mountain Time Regalia part, where he's not sure about his overall steady-footedness. Now we have the character, hopefully in a later part of his life, where he has at least made peace with either metaphorical or demons, people. It's not 100% clear to me, but
now that we've put us both on blast, they can dissolve and become nutrients to feed the soil, and we can grow a sunflower.
And then these are symbols that I have kind of kept as part of my personal lore at this point. Canon is maybe a better word there, but either way, just a friend of mine, and I almost got a tattoo of blueberries because of her. But anyways, this is my grandmother, who was one of my closest friends. She passed away in 2022. This was this cat that she owned, and she was really always my sunflower. Her name was Pillsbury.
In the blueberry patch of my dreams, magic.
And then, as happy as it is to end on that note of her, I wish that image was still up here. Anyways, magic, it seems, is kind of a call to this thing of like, it's like when it shows him with this woman, is this even the future? Is this all in his head? Is he currently dissolving in hydrofluoric acid, or has he truly? Is it because life really can be magic? And I certainly don't mean to write towards such a dark place, but I think that the ambiguity there is, and a lot of life's magic ultimately does come from the ambiguity and the gray areas, as opposed to the blacks and white kind of like extremes, and these kind of like older draconian policies. And you look at things like, I speak a lot about substance use, and I feel like harm reduction is a great contrast. Do I mean, that's like it's not perfect, but because it's ambiguous, you know what I mean? So anyways, I could go on for forever, but hopefully that made like 5% at least more sense to you guys. Anyways, I thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe, and then let everyone know that Jorm and the Marvelous Raindrops, as well as Ghost Cavern, which is my side project, where we thank you.